Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Movie Bracket with Kielan, Will, and Ben. I'm Keelan.
I'm Ben.
That was awkward. Anyways, if you're watching this on the Keith Loves Movies YouTube channel, please subscribe. And subscribe to the Keelan Else YouTube channel if you're on that one. And subscribe to either one of them, vice versa. If you're on the podcast stream, check out the podcast and go to KeithLovesMovies.com. They're friends of the show, supporting this podcast and show. So thank you to them. Let's get started right away with a matchup between two kings, The Shining and Lawrence of Arabia.
Wow.
Ooh.
It's a big boy, and I'd like to start with our show's own big boy, Will Gottlieb.
Why, thank you, Keelan.
I would say he's the biggest boy out of the three of
He
us.
is the biggest boy. He is like 6'4".
In what? I'm not 6'4".
You're about an inch taller than me, and I'm 6'2". So you're 6'3" at least.
You're 6'2"? No, you're
I'm
not.
6'2". Yes, I am.
No, I'm 6'1.5". I got it measured
You are
at the doctor's office.
6'2" or 3".
No, that is empirically, medically not true. So,
I got measured at the doctor's office 6 months ago, and I was 6'2".
well,
And you're taller than me.
6'2"?
one of our doctors.
One of our doctors is lying to us.
He
Yeah,
needs
they
to
have to
give
fight
in
it
his
out.
certificate. All I know is I'm the shortest, sadly.
He's like 5'5".
I,
I'm 5'11".
I don't. This is
Damn
hard
it.
because I have more recent memory of The Shining, but I also really loved Lawrence of Arabia. I think I can find a less to dislike about Lawrence of Arabia, but I think also I haven't seen it in a long time, but also it's like I don't think I'm kidding myself when I think it's like an incredible film, especially when I saw it back then. It was like we've talked about it. It's like a revelatory experience to see it in theaters on film and everything. It's just like I can't go into it as deeply as I could probably with other movies that we've talked about because I don't remember every fine detail of it. So I want to maybe come back to me. I'm gonna defer to the shortest boy of the podcast, Ben.
Well, my opinion is very one-sided considering
true.
I haven't seen Lawrence of Arabia. So my vote automatically goes to The Shining. However, I mean, obviously I can't say for sure because I haven't seen it, but I feel like I'd probably vote for The Shining even if I had seen Lawrence of Arabia, just because I really love The Shining, and like it's hard not to love. It's one of the greatest horror movies of all time. Jack Nicholson's one of the greatest performances ever. Underrated performance. I mean, obviously he's reveled as one of the
I don't know if
greatest
it's an
actors of all
underrated
time.
performance.
I'd say it's
I
underrated.
think it's a
because
very, very well-loved performance.
I don't think so. I don't think
It's
it gets
still underrated.
It's still underrated. It's still underrated because obviously he's heralded as one of the greatest actors of all time. But for some reason, I feel like that performance doesn't get enough love because it's up there with some of the greater performances ever. I'm saying it. You heard it here first.
Ben, what performances of his do you think get the attention?
Well, just him in general. I don't
The
think. I feel
party.
like because he's such a well-rounded actor, there's not many of his specific.
It's Something's Gotta
performances-
Give. That's the one.
Yeah.
Shut up. I said just because I think it's because he's such a well-rounded actor. It's because he's given so many. Not one in particular gets all the hype. You know what I mean?
What about Something's Gotta Give?
Okay, Something's Gotta Give. Best performance. I'm done talking about Jack Nicholson. I'm voting for The Shining. There.
I'm voting for Lawrence of Arabia for the simple reason that I liked The Shining. It was good, and I didn't love it. And I don't know why I didn't love it, but I just didn't love it. But
This
Lawrence
man
of
just
Arabia
called The
was
Shining good.
It's a really good movie. It's really
Yeah,
good.
it's
But
good.
like I
very
don't know.
perfect.
I didn't love it. I thought it was like a really solid, well-made horror film that at times I found a little pedantic, but I overall really well constructed. Lawrence of Arabia, on the other hand, I think is a masterpiece, and seeing it on film was like a religious experience, and I don't care if I sound pretentious by saying that. It was, and I will never forget seeing it. I might forget seeing The Shining. I don't remember where I saw The Shining. I've seen it, but I don't remember how I watched it. I will never forget watching Lawrence of Arabia, so I have to vote for it.
Damn.
I saw The Shining in a theater as well. Not to brag, but
Oh yeah, you saw it. I know where you
I'm-
saw it. That's pretty
I'm
impressive that you did get to see it in
thinking-
theaters.
I have no idea what to pick.
So my computer just broke. Keelan, if you're watching this, I'm deeply sorry.
Because I'm thinking, I can't, like, in a matchup between something else that's, like, by this point, definitely going to be, all of us consider, like, a masterpiece, and Lawrence of Arabia, I don't know if I can say much about Lawrence of Arabia other than, like...
And now we wait.
It was fantastic. I remember loving it, and it has, like, some of the best, like, production design and like...
What the fuck? Like, it just stopped working.
Camera work, and oh my god, the big deserts, and it's amazing.
The editing,
yeah,
like one of the best cuts of all time. Yeah,
and he goes, whew,
Can't believe The Shining's about to lose, man. This shit's whack.
but I don't like, my mind isn't full of thoughts about Lawrence of Arabia, you know.
that's fair. I respect that.
Whereas with The Shining, I do love it, and I do think it's, like, probably another masterpiece. I don't think it's like Stanley Kubrick's best movie, but I think it's very excellent.
But Jack Nicholson's best performance is in The Departed.
And I just think I can say more about it. And I actively love it more in this moment than I do Lawrence of Arabia. So I think I have to give it to The Shining, but I also love Lawrence of Arabia. And I would like to rewatch Lawrence of Arabia soon so that I can be more, like, talking about it.
Almost back here, boys.
Yes, I 100% respect that. The Shining's great. Let's put it there. I think this one has a clear winner, but let's do it.
Alrighty.
Okay, our next round of the day: Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade versus Interstellar.
Bruh.
I'd like to lead this one out by saying Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yes, better movie.
Yes,
let's give
movie.
a eulogy.
I mean,
to
I haven't seen
Interstellar.
Interstellar. Will, you give the eulogy.
Okay, Interstellar is a fantastic movie, and it's an epic space epic, and it's grand in scope and wonderful in its execution. It has some whack parts of it, but
parts.
I don't really care. But you know, I can get past those. Everyone's like, he was on the bookshelf. That's what my uncle says, and I think, yeah, but what about the other 2 hours and 45 minutes? And also that part wasn't that bad. It's not that bad. Stop.
What about the part where Matt Damon looked like a baked
Hey,
potato?
I haven't seen it.
Surely, okay.
Oh yeah, well, you just spoiled.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Matt Damon looks like a baked potato, and at one point he says, "There is a moment."
That's it. I
And
love
it's
that
hilarious.
Part. All the
So
parts
funny.
with Matt Damon in it. I actually really love those. I'm gonna rewatch it soon.
Yeah, they're great.
I really love it, but it's not as good as
Man.
Indiana Jones.
The writing in Interstellar is sometimes really bad. I think it's some of Nolan's like worst writing. Man is such a stupid joke
But they
that
don't.
takes
They
itself
never
too seriously.
say it. They never say it. But that's.
I know,
It's
but
so,
the fact that it exists is
Yeah.
like the fact that it's not a joke
Yeah.
is upsetting to me. Like the fact that Christopher Nolan can't see that is stupid bothers me.
Yeah.
And,
Otherwise, I think the
there's other
writing's quite
parts
good.
that I think are just like I think some of the dialogue is like so like her kid coming out like, "Why am I named Murph?" And I'm just like, "This is okay." You had to wait
explain it
until
to
you're leaned
Let me
against
give
a
you
car in the middle of a cornfield to talk about this. Okay, like it was just kind of. There's a lot of bits in that movie that I think are kind of whack, but it's not the parts people usually call whack.
Yeah. I'll
think
I'll
there's
talk
just some
about
stupid
the
bits.
best part of Interstellar is where Timothée Chalamet, who is in it, says,
I forgot
"What
he was
about
in
the
it."
flat tire?" And then it cuts to them.
He was in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he plays young Casey Affleck.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
It was like his first big movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I will say, to the positive side of Interstellar, it is the film that made me want to go into filmmaking. So I do have an emotional connection with it. I have, however, I think, grown to not love it as much as I once did, but I will always love it for what it did in that it made me want to make movies. So that's...
Hell yeah.
I love
yeah,
Interstellar
Chris.
still. I just...
You know what, Christopher Nolan, we sent The Dark Knight through over Blade Runner, so just be happy, okay?
It's okay. You got at least one in here, Chris.
He's probably
Yeah.
trashed his apartment. By now.
Like me when I found out that Ben was going to send Do the Right Thing through. Or was it you,
Oh
bro?
yeah. No, it was me.
That
Was
wouldn't
it
have
you?
been me.
There we go.
You
No,
convinced
you,
me.
you,
convinced me to
you
change my
hate
vote.
do the right
I
thing.
hate do the right
Will-
thing. I think it's
Will
Will.
hates do the right thing.
Yeah.
I have a
Alright.
vendetta against Indiana Jones now though, because of previous events.
We can talk. I'll talk about Indiana Jones and why it's good next round when it comes up against something that you both love more than it.
Oh boy. Yeah, next round it's gonna have to do some fighting. All
Thank
right.
God.
Moving on. Two
Enough
more
of this
matchups
shit.
for the day. We have 2001: A Space Odyssey versus La La Land.
Duh.
So there's two options for this. We're either all going to be about to be good cinephiles, or we're all about to be really shitty fanboys.
You better.
And I don't know which way it's going to go.
You don't know which way it's gonna go.
Oh, I know
Bro.
what I'm doing. I don't know where you guys are going to go.
Well, I know which way I'm going.
I know which way you're going too, Will.
Yeah.
Will's gonna vote for 2001.
2001
Will's
is a
gonna vote for 2001.
masterpiece of masterpieces, man. It's like what's there. It's like a perfect film, and it checks a couple boxes in my book because it's like a masterpiece, but it's also like weird and like it gets to that like the last like 30 minutes of it, or no, like the last like 20 minutes of it are just so insane that it puts it on another level for me because it adds this layer of like you have to really think about it and you have to really like dissect the movie and you get much more out of it like that. So it not only is it such a incredible experience, especially in a theater, which we all talked about seeing it in a theater, but it has that level of like intense depth to it, not just like, well, there are themes in this movie. It's like this is about like the evolution of the human race and like life and what life means, and it like that's
How do you argue with this?
That's
How do you
pretty-
argue
You
with
can't.
this?
You can't.
Where Will Gottlieb comes out and says this film is about the meaning of life and it does it well.
yeah.
You can't say but the colors.
You can't.
It's
No,
like
you can't.
Fuck.
imagine
But Ryan Gosling gives a yeah.
I
It doesn't
should-
matter. It
I
doesn't
should save
matter
my
because
thoughts
life
about
has no
this.
meaning. Ah.
I love La La Land though. I especially like the part when J.K.
Thanks,
Simmons
Will.
is snapping and he's like,
Fuck.
No, this is annoying because La La Land is like probably my. It's like either my favorite or like second, or it's somewhere in my top like 3 of all time. But there's nothing I can say. Like 2001 is objectively a better film in every fucking way.
Because
there is
2001
no
The Space
capacity
Odyssey-
in which
Yeah.
La La Land is better than 2001,
No,
except
there's
maybe
not.
for the
You're
fact
right.
that
No,
La
I
La
agree.
Land is more charming than 2001.
Yeah.
And more heartwarming.
But you can't say 2001 is heartwarming or charming.
No, but it doesn't
Because it's
try
not
to
what
be.
it tries to be. Exactly.
Quite
it's not trying to
objectively
be
though,
that.
2001: A Space Odyssey like might be objectively like the most important film ever made. Objectively,
Might
like
be,
it,
yeah.
it might be the most like. It's just it says so much about it says so much about so much, and it does it all like perfectly to the point where when it comes down to it, I don't know if it'll win this bracket because we have to be talking also about things that mean a lot to us. But in
Yeah.
this matchup,
It's gonna lose the sing streak.
It has.
yeah,
I think it
voted for
has
2001:
value
Space
to
Odyssey.
me, like personal value to me, because of my
Yeah.
experience with it.
No, and me too. But I mean, La La Land is like almost one of our favorite films of all time. But at the same time,
Yeah.
like 2001 was one of your top 5 also, Will, right?
It's my
But-
number 2 now.
There you go.
Wow.
That's why.
Yeah.
Whereas like La La Land has been like my favorite quote unquote movie for a long time, despite the fact that I don't think it's the best
Yeah.
movie. But like,
No, yeah.
you can't put it up against this.
Also,
You
I'd
can't.
like
you
to say
can't, you
my
can't.
number 1 is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which is like, I don't
Who's winning
think
right now?
that Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is a better movie than 2001. I don't think you could make that argument. So it's basically my number 1. It's just Indiana
right.
Jones is just up there because of that personal love for
But
it.
like,
And I also think
if
it's an
you had
amazing
to
movie.
fight between the two of them in this bracket,
I would give
like,
it to
that's-
2001.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to.
I would give
depending
it-
on how the next round goes.
easily, I would give it to 2001.
Wow.
Wow.
All right.
This is
All
gonna
right.
be interesting.
Next round. We have
Final
how many
round,
do we have
yes?
left?
So
Final
I'm
round of
did both
the-
of you vote for
of the
2001?
game.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Yes.
voting for 2001.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, La La Land, and it breaks my heart that La La Land gets eliminated this early, but
I know.
you literally just cannot put these films side by side and say La La Land is better. Like,
Yeah.
you just can't, ever in any conversation at all.
It's just
Yeah.
it's a nice and also fantastic movie, but it's not like
I think it's a perfect movie for what it does.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
but 2001
But
just
2001
does so much more.
Yeah, exactly. They're both perfect movies for what they are trying to do, but you have to respect that 2001: A Space Odyssey is trying to answer like what the meaning of life is. So,
Just straight up, yeah.
and
like,
since it's
yeah.
perfect, I think you got to give it to that. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Final round. This one's all right. Apocalypse Now versus 12 Angry Men.
oh
Can I start off because
Yep.
I think I might be in the minority here. I'm giving it to 12 Angry Men. Because 12 Angry Men is the movie, like, it was the first, like, classic, like, older film I watched when I was younger. It was the film that kind of made me want to go back and watch older stuff. It's also maybe one of the best scripts.
yeah, I
Generally,
watched it recently.
Maybe the best.
It's
maybe the best
really
script.
good. I don't know.
It's
I don't think
incredible.
it's the best script, but it's very good. It's very well
yeah.
done.
One way or the other, they made 12 guys talking in one room interesting for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's...
Technically,
Yeah,
there were
I
two.
give
It
it
hasn't.
There's
It's
also the
it's-
bathroom.
Okay, well...
There's,
What?
there are two. Because there's also the bathroom.
There's the bathroom.
Yeah, there are a couple scenes.
There's,
in the
okay,
bathroom.
fine. Yes, and there's one in the court. A couple shots in the
Fair,
court.
fair.
And then there's also one bit outside
Okay.
at the very end. So really,
All right, well.
their room
Okay.
budget, they were
Anyways,
really running through
anyways,
it.
anyways. What are you guys doing it? What are you guys
I'm
doing?
voting for 12 Angry Men.
Whoa.
Really?
Like, I haven't seen
Because
it,
you
but-
haven't seen
That's
Apocalypse
true.
Now.
Bold choice.
But again, it's the similar situation to Lawrence of Arabia for me. I feel like if I had seen Apocalypse Now, I'm sure I'm sure it's amazing, and I can't say for sure. But 12 Angry Men, again, like Keelan said, one of the best scripts of all time, and it has something like this hasn't been done this well, ever.
It's very. It's another one of those things which is kind of like 2001 in that it's such a lofty goal of for 2001. It's like we're gonna take a movie starting from like the beginning of like the dawn of man and bring it all the way to the future, and it's gonna have this through line. It's like that's not just anyone could do that. I didn't know this, but I'm pretty sure that 12 Angry Men was a directorial debut.
Really?
Which is quite
Wow.
amazing. And I mean,
That's impressive.
the meat of it is really in the script, but the fact that it's 90 minutes and it's all dialogue and it's like nonstop, and all 12 of the people are like fully fleshed out characters who all like
Yeah.
you can see their like point of view, and they're all different in some way, is really amazing. I think they're both 5-star movies for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
I agree.
Apocalypse
Oh, I haven't
Now
seen
I
Apocalypse Now,
might
never mind.
like a little more because it's more. Well, what I look for in a movie that I rate 5 stars is like it really kind of sweeps you along into it, and it absorbs you into it, and it like emotionally connects you to it and makes you feel something. And 12 Angry Men does that, but I feel Apocalypse Now did it more for me. So I don't know. It could go either way. I'm more eulogizing Apocalypse Now because I know that 12 Angry Men is going through.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I'm fine with 12 Angry Men going through because I think it's amazing.
I think
but
Apocalypse Now is a great movie, but like...
I think Apocalypse Now has more going on. And 12
I think
Angry
it has
Men.
more
Yeah.
going on, but I don't know if it's saying quite as much.
Yeah, because I think 12 Angry Men, it takes the meat and potatoes of filmmaking and just does it perfectly.
That's it.
And
Yeah,
it's hard
that's a
to say.
very-
It's-
Apocalypse Now is, it's very bells and whistles. Like, it's really, really great because it uses everything at its disposal to make it feel so real. But 12 Angry Men is literally just people talking in a room, and that's it. And it makes it equally
Yeah.
as enthralling.
12 Angry
and it's
Men
hard to do that perfectly.
is very
Yeah.
like
to the degree that 12 Angry Men does it.
classical filmmaking, you know?
Yeah,
12 like,
absolutely.
And
I wouldn't say
and-
it takes risks, but the director's evidently doing something,
Yeah.
even if it's very subconscious, to make that story and to make that context interesting and interesting and as as you were saying, like as able to sweep you along with it as Apocalypse Now is, because Apocalypse Now has real momentum to it as well, which is why it really sweeps you through, because it's a journey. It's got like a real arc. 12 Angry Men is very aimless as a story when you think about it, because it just goes from moment to moment to moment, and you have to like
12 Angry Men.
It doesn't have like a typical 3-act structure though.
I think 12 Angry Men has a very clear like line through it, which is like
it is very linear. Yeah,
it's like you start off with the 11 against 11 for 11 guilty and 1 not guilty, and then you see the numbers inverting over the course of the movie.
No, I agree, but it's just 1/3 act.
Linear. It's not.
What I mean is that it's just 1/3 act though. It's meandering in that it's moment to moment to moment to moment. Like you're just watching. It's like you're watching a tank of water empty, right? If a 3-act structure is you're watching 3 different tanks empty until we get to the end of the 3rd one. This story is just one really, really, really slow tank that eventually hits the bottom. But that's not usual. You don't see that usually. Usually you have different types of things.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah, 12 Angry Men.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Apocalypse Now.
Will, you're voting for Apocalypse Now? Okay.
Sure. Yes.
Just for the shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Okay. That'll be it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. We're halfway through the round of 32. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to things, like things.
And thank you very much for watching.
Yes.
Thank you very much for watching.
And thank you very much for watching.
What are your names?
I'm Ben.
I'm Will.
KeithLovesMovies.com. Go to it. Read things.
What's your name?
This podcast should be played loud. This podcast should be played loud.
Do it. Promotion.
Keelan Ellis on YouTube. Bye.
Bye.